Welcome to Econ 317. In this video, we will go over suggested solution to the final exam review questions. And here we will focus on the second question, which deals with the profit maximization for a monopoly firm. So we have the inverse demand for the monopoly firm given by P price is equal to 100 minus 3Q, where Q is the output. We are also given that the fixed cost is $25. The variable cost is given as Q square plus 12Q, where Q is the output produced. With this, in the first part, we are required to find out the expression for the profit. So as we know, profit is total revenue minus total cost, and total revenue is price multiplied by quantity. Price this time is given as 100 minus 3Q, and I multiply it with quantity. So I can simplify this expression as 100Q. I am multiplying each term in the parenthesis by Q. So 100Q, then I have negative, so negative. 3Q times Q is 3Q square. That's our total revenue. The total cost is the sum of fixed cost plus the variable cost. Fixed cost is 25. The variable cost is Q square plus 12Q. So now I have the expression for both total revenue and total cost. I can write down profit as total revenue minus total cost, which is 100Q minus 3Q square. That's my total revenue, minus 25 plus Q square plus 12Q as my total cost. I wrote the total cost in parentheses because there is a negative sign in front of it, and it is easier to simplify the expression this way. So now I will remove the parentheses to simplify. So there's no sign here, which means it is plus. So I open the parenthesis, remove the parentheses without changing sign of the terms for total revenue. I have a negative sign in front of total cost. So sign of each term within the parenthesis will be reversed. Each one of these terms have positive signs, so they all become negative. Minus Q square minus 12Q. We can see it is possible to collect terms. I have 100Q here, I have 12Q here. The difference would be 88Q. I have 3Q square negative sign here, minus Q square here, so becomes 4Q square, and then I have negative 25 by itself. That's the expression for profit when firm produces output Q and sells output Q. The next part, we will write down the first order condition. So first I want to write down the maximization problem. The monopoly will maximize profit, which is 88Q minus 4Q square minus 25, and the choice variable is output, and I am assuming it is going to be positive. So my objective function is the profit, the choice variable is the output Q, and then the first order condition is the derivative of the profit with respect to Q. So derivative of 88 times Q is 88. I have a negative, so minus. Derivative of 4Q square is 4 times 2 times Q to the power 2 minus 1. Maybe I'll write it here. Q to the power 2 minus 1 minus the derivative of a constant is 0. This gives me 88 minus 4 times 2 is 8Q. So the first order condition requires the derivative of the profit should be equal to 0. Next part, we will find out the solution to the FOC. So let's write down the expression. 88 minus 8Q equal to 0. That is the FOC. I can take the negative 8Q term on the left to the right hand side. So I add 8Q to both sides of the equal sign. What remains is 88 on the left, 8Q on the right. Now I have unknown on one side, constants on the other. This is one equation, one unknown. We can solve. So I will divide both sides by 8. So 11 on the left, Q on the right. So the solution is Q star turns out to be 11. That's the solution to the FOC. Now I will also like to verify the second order condition, which is I take the second derivative of the profit with respect to output, which is the derivative of the first order condition 88 minus 8Q, and I want to see the sign of the second order derivative. So you can see the first term is a constant, derivative is 0. Second term is minus 8Q, so derivative is negative 8. So the second order derivative of the profit function is negative for all values of Q. So whatever solution I obtain of the first order condition must give us a maximum. So profit attains a maximum at Q star equal to 11. In the last part, we will compute now the profit and the price. First, remember, this is a monopoly firm. So monopoly firms decide their own price given the inverse demand. So at Q star equal to 11, the price, I'll call it P star, turns out to be 100 minus 3 times Q. So 100 minus 3 times 11 turns out to be 100 minus 33. Answer is 67. So that's the price at which the monopoly will sell its output. And now the profit is total revenue minus total cost. Total revenue is $67 price, 11 units sold. So that's the total revenue. The total cost is 25 plus Q square, which is, I will write it first the expression, then maybe we will simplify. So 67 times 11 minus 25 minus 11 whole square minus 12 times 11. I will write it once more, simplifying at least some terms. So 11 square is 121. 12 times 11 is 132. And if we do this simplification, the answer should turn out to be 459. So that's our solution. What we have obtained is output Q star is 11, price P star 67, and this will yield profit by star 459, and that is the solution, and that's a good point to stop.